You need to realize that you need to stop trying to earn acceptance. You need to start just allowing that. Oh, if I'm kind, then everyone likes me. No, that's not true. Some people are not going to be used to this new version of you, but their discomfort does not equal your disrespect. The real you can't exist. So maybe, okay, how do I stop performing? How the fuck do I fix it? I got you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, this is like literally the same background as before because I'm feeling in a very talkative mood today, okay? So something that I really want to talk about in society and even for myself is performing. Performing for others, how to stop performing in public, how to just stop performing for people in general. And there's so much to talk about. Being perceived in public, like I hate that. People pleasing, you're just constantly acting a certain way in order to be liked. And you might be like, oh, why do I perform? Why? People perform to be accepted, to be loved. Maybe like from a young age, you're taught that in order to perform, to be praised, it's all conditional. You have to be acting, you have to be pretty, you have to be getting good grades, you have to be doing something. You have to be performing very exceptional in order to get praise, in order to get love from the people who you want love from. And when you're like trained like that as a kid, it just feels like if I perform, I'm gonna be loved, everyone's gonna accept me, everyone's gonna love me. You feel like love is determined by how well you present yourself than to actually show your true self, because sometimes maybe at a young age, when you showed your true self, you got rejected by the people you love. It's very sad. It's very sad when you think about it. So I wrote down some notes because your girl got a new journal and now she doesn't know how to act. I'm just gonna touch on my little journal right here. So some of the things that I wrote down was like some of the reasons why do people perform, because if you're like, I'm always constantly performing in front of my boyfriend, from my girlfriend, from my friends, in public and work settings. I think there's a difference with performing for like your survivalhood as in work. You know, you got to pay rent somehow, right? So you're at work, you're in corporate. I think that's a little different because I think that's just like work culture. Like there's a certain way you act in work that you don't act in real life or like with friends. I'm talking more so with friends in your personal life. So from a young age, like I said, that you learned that approval was conditional and people give you praise when you act a certain way. And that's when love was given. So you constantly think that I got to perform. I got to be a certain person that I'm not. And so basically some of us, we would just think that love equals performance, and you will scan every sort of situation you're in, like personal and family functions and social settings. You're constantly be like, okay, what can I do to be accepted? Which is really sad is that even as a kid, I didn't know how to act as a human being. It's really sad when you think about it because like, what the fuck does that mean? Especially I think like growing up, a lot of my peers were white. So sometimes I'm like, as an Asian girl myself, I didn't know how to act. I'm like, oh, I already don't fit in. I have to act like, how do they act? Me being myself was not good enough. And I think it's also coming from experience with teachers can be a little racist, a little passive aggressive to a small little Asian girl, which is really fucked. So you, as a kid, I think some of us would just constantly be seeing, how do I act? How do I make people like not be too much trouble for others? How do I not get in trouble so people like me? Because everyone wants to be liked, you know, nobody wants to be left out. And another thing is that people perform because they fear being perceived. They don't want to be judged. It's not a good feeling, you know, it just makes you feel like suddenly you're 12 again. You're getting bullied, you feel super helpless. It kind of fucks with your inner child. Maybe your past traumas can resurface where your very close loved ones has judged you. People who you want love from has previously judged you and made you feel like shit. So hence you think that you need to control every single person's perception of you. You need to control that, what they think of you, how they perceive you. It's honestly like, you know, I think this can come from a lot of people pleasers where they will act a certain way. It's a gut feeling. As you get older, you can sense like who is people pleasing. It just feels like it doesn't feel not like authentic. Sometimes it comes off as a little too people pleasing. Like they're a little too easy to get along with. I mean, like I'm not saying that there's not going to be those people who are just naturally easy to get along with, but sometimes just like you just feel like they have no, like anything you say goes. They agree with every single thing you're saying. Maybe you guys just vibe very well, but it's just like they have no takes themselves. Babe, sometimes I'm like, am I just talking to like a carbon copy of myself and you don't know anything about them? So yeah, I wrote down something interesting. I think if you care about how people perform you would sometimes put on an armor. Some of us is makeup, it's fashion. Even for me, sometimes I don't feel comfortable going out if I'm not wearing makeup because it just feels like it's like protecting me, hiding my true self, where it's like I look pretty, if I'm smart, if I'm pretty, if I'm outgoing, you cannot reject me. And I think that people are just super scared of rejection because same, like I get it. I go out and I'm like, ooh, if people give me attitude, I get a little upset, especially if I'm about myself. And I think that performing gives you a sense of this emotional armor that you just can't be rejected. But you need to realize that that sense of armor, it allows you from forming real actual connections because people can only connect to what you show them. If you show them the people pleaser of you, like you adjust to everything they say, they're only going to love that version of you and you're going to be like, oh my God, but what about the real me? Well, they can't love the real you if you don't show the real you. It's just how it is. And there's deeper issues with that. Like, why are you so scared of being rejected? Oh, people are going to leave. Nobody's going to like me. But the thing is that life goes on. Life goes on. I think that sometimes you just really have to ask yourself like the deep ass questions, like the trauma sort of questions. Because a lot of these issues is like, you just have to get to the root of the issues, right? If you constantly think that, oh, nobody's going to love me for who I am. Like, so what? At least you have yourself and you're being real with yourself. That's just what it is. Because trust me, performing 24/7 is very hard. And I remember back in college, like I really wanted to be liked. So I would like act super outgoing and just not who I am. I think that this also comes from maybe as a kid, you dealt with a lot of chaos, and it gives you a sense of control of your surroundings when you are performing for others. If you feel like you're being perfect or if you're being liked, it reduces a lot of chaos in your life. But you need to realize that was a defense mechanism as a kid, and the same sort of strategy, if you do it now, it keeps you trapped because you can't build authentic connections. There's no real intimacy with the fake person that you're creating. Even now, like at the age of 25, I interact with similar people my age. It's still an ongoing issue. So if also you're younger than me, then yeah, it's like, don't feel bad about it. It just happens. We cannot control the environment we're in. So I think it just depends on the person, because I think that when you're a people pleaser, coming from a former people pleaser myself, back then when I was like people pleasing, I would act a certain way. And then when people didn't like me, I'll be like, she's such a bitch. But it was because I was like, people can see through me. I didn't mean to manipulate anyone, but it's manipulative because I'm trying to get you to like me without showing you my real self. And people saw through that. People who are older saw through my bullshit. They were like, oh, like she just wants me to like her. Like, I don't know who the fuck she is. I would literally just talk and literally give no sense of silence because I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. I like making myself uncomfortable. It's really fucked up when you think about that. For me now, I see through shit now too. Like people who saw through my shit back then, I'm like, oh, she's people pleasing. It's exhausting to deal with, and I'm not saying it's anyone's fault to people please, but you get to have preferences of your own friends. For me, I don't like being friends with people pleasers. You sense that a mile away. It's very easy to spot. It's just that we're not on the same wavelength. We're not on the same timeline, and that's just for people to grow out of. Like, no hate. Back then, people probably didn't vibe with me, and I get it. You don't really know the real me, and maybe you'll never know the real me because I'm constantly trying to get accustomed to you. And now it's like I'm feeling the other end of the stick as well when people please to me, adjust to me, which is something that you don't realize until you realize it, until they grow resentment towards you because they're like, you don't even know the real me. I'm like, bitch, how the fuck do I know the real you if you're constantly putting this fuck ass armor on? How the fuck do I know the real you? So maybe, okay, Via, how do I stop performing? How the fuck do I fix it? I got you. I'm gonna go down some stuff I wrote down. When you have awareness, when you're just aware of what the fuck you're doing, that's the first crack. You need to notice when the fuck you're performing. You need to notice that, oh, did my tone change? Did my actions change? Did my words changing? Am I getting into like a certain mode? Then you call your shit out. You gotta call your shit out. I'm performing, okay? And then you look into the reasons of why you're performing. It's just like you need to realize when you're starting to curate yourself to like fit other people's palette. And number two is that you just need to start retraining your nervous system, creating certain safe spaces for yourself. Maybe it's when one family member, one person, a certain community, or like private outlets in your life. Oh, maybe journaling, maybe therapy, maybe, I don't know, painting, just getting your emotions out there and just retraining your nervous system that's okay to just be your true self and be unfiltered. Me being myself doesn't create any sort of rejection, which is why I think being alone really helps as well, because when you're by yourself, you're not really performing. Hopefully not. I know there's certain cases where it's like you still feel like you're performing even when you're alone. That's something you have to unlearn. And number three, like I said before, you have to, which is very key, which is that you have to be a what am I afraid of when I stop performing? What is the core issue here? We need to get to the bottom of this. And you might be like, oh, people will leave. People will see me as lazy, as a bad person, whatever it is. And then you need to realize it's literally not that fucking deep. And number four is just that you need to start practicing. Okay? You need to practice certain things. You need to practice showing your real self. Honesty. Like you say that, oh, actually, I don't know about this thing. I don't know. I actually don't know what you mean by that. If you're always like performing like you need to be the smartest of the bunch, maybe try that because it builds human connection. And sometimes maybe you can show like more imperfect versions of yourself. Maybe post imperfect versions of yourself on social media. I don't know. You just need to know that the real you can't exist. It's like crazy that I'm saying this. And that's also something that I need to learn as well. And my notes continue. Oh, the last one was that you need to redefine what your connection means. You need to realize that performing gives you a sense of validation, right? Like, oh, this person likes me. Yes. But then you need to realize that authenticity and honesty gives you connection to an actual person. You are actually building a real fucking human connection. And that real intimacy only comes from honesty. Like you're showing the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. And I know that hurts. You're showing your real self and they don't like you. But then you need to view that as like, that's just not the right person for me. The right person for me will accept me. You need to realize that you need to stop trying to earn acceptance. You need to start just allowing that into your life. Because if you're constantly just like, oh, I'm going to prevent anyone from knowing the real me, you're never going to get that. You're always going to try to earn that instead. But you need to realize that you are accepted. You are accepted and you should just let the energy flow in. And so I think one of the things with people pleasers is that if I'm not people pleasing, I'm going to look rude. And I struggle with that too. But there's a difference. Being authentic versus being rude. It depends on where you're coming from. Being Authentic is just you're being authentically yourself. It comes from self-respect. Being rude is like you disregard other people's emotions. I think like being rude feels more like you're trying to like very defensive. Being authentic is more so you're having like truth and kindness. You're acting based off truth and kindness. Being authentic is more so like you're saying no to protect your peace, to protect yourself. But then being rude is more so you're saying no to punish someone, to be in control of something. And I think that usually when you're more authentic, it's like you're very calm, you're very grounded. And being rude is more so like I wrote down, it's more so you're very defensive, you're very reactive. It's more so like an ego thing. And one of the key things that I wrote down was that when you create a sort of boundaries, right? When you start people pleasing, especially for the people who are going to know the new version of yourself where they're not used to, they might dislike you for your boundaries. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong because you're not accommodating to their set of standards anymore. You're not accommodating to their taste. You're just accommodating to yourself. You're respecting yourself. They might not like you. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're being disrespectful. Some people just don't like that. People all love easy things. It's just how we are. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. If you have like the tendency where it's like, oh, I tend to be a bit more rude to people, maybe I didn't mean to be rude, make sure that you're just like regulating your responses. I think tone really matters, which is something I struggle to because I'm a very direct person, even though I don't mean ill intent. And I think that for me, because of my job, I get a lot of feedback on different things all the time. And for me, I've always valued efficiency where I just want people to tell me straight up. Like if it's something's bad, tell me it's bad, I'll get better at it. I like things quick. I like things efficient. So sometimes my tone might not be the best. And I sometimes forget that way. Some people don't do the best with tones. And I'm like, damn, it's like really the T in me that comes out. And then I'm like, oh shoot, that sounded a little rude. Like I feel so bad. I'm like, okay, I should not have said that. I just want to get straight to the point. And sometimes I get a little bit more unfiltered. And I know that some people can be not like sensitive, but like they care about the tone. And then I feel very apologetic. I'm like, damn, I really made them feel like shit. And I didn't mean that, but I still did that. So tone really matters. Trust me, coming from someone who's not the best with tones, because honestly, I don't really know how to bring up uncomfortable things, but it's just the more so I interact with people, I start off with the good things, then I slowly break it in. Because like usually you're rude when you're very triggered. Okay. So sometimes you just got to calm down and then you say it. For example, if you don't want to do that, instead of being like, no, I don't want to do that, you can say that that's not something I can commit right now, but thank you for inviting me. Something like that. So I said that tone conveys more weight than words. As a people pleaser, you have to release the need for people to like you. When you're constantly performing, it's because you want to control that. You want to control how people perceive you. You want to control people's perception of you. In order for them to like you, you need to release that. If you don't release that and you constantly hold on to this, like, I need to control every single person's perception of me, it's hard. You just still feel like you have to perform because that's how you get everyone to like you. And like I said before, some people are not going to be used to this new version of you, but you need to know that their discomfort does not equal your disrespect. Some people might not be comfortable with that because imagine you're constantly adjusting to their lifestyle, so then they just switch and start respecting themselves more. You might be like, oh, that's a little weird. And some people might not like that, but that's just not the right people for you. And you just need to make sure like that sort of dynamic never happens again. When you get to know someone, you need to just hold yourself first. Be authentic, be yourself. Because sometimes friendships are built like a rhythm. Relationships are built like a rhythm, like a certain dynamic. And I'll be honest, some people don't get used to a change of dynamic. Sometimes you just interact with a friend, something changed all of a sudden. It might be difficult for the friendship to continue, which is why you need to make sure for your new sets of friends, like you don't do the same thing, repeat the same mistakes. Oh, I wrote that you can be kind and disliked, and that equals emotional maturity. Oh, if I'm kind, then everyone likes me. No, that's not true. You can be kind and you can get disliked. And that's just something you just need to accept. And you need to also just realize like what the fuck are your values. You need to anchor your values and be like, what are my core values? Am I being kind or am I being rude? Okay, if I'm acting upon my core values, then I'm being authentic. But some people might also find you rude, and that's just how it is. And number 5, you have to, I wrote down gentle honesty. Like you have to be considerate. You're telling someone something, right? Like I said before, tone really matters, and also just the wording of things. This is something that there's some people who are really good at it, some people who are really shit at it. It's just that your tone really matters, and just be kind of considerate to others as well. And number 6 is like what I said before, which is how you need to release the need to be liked by others. You need to give yourself permission to be misunderstood by others, and you need to stop managing everyone's perception of you. I wrote, your peace no longer depends on everyone else's, what did I ever say? Comfort. When you're constantly trying to like explain yourself, it costs your peace, it costs a lot of time, and sometimes you just don't need to do that. Some people just want to misunderstand what they misunderstand, and sometimes we shouldn't treat others as idiots. Some people, no matter how much you explain yourself, they just want to misunderstand you because it's more so a perception of themselves. It's just how it is, and that's just how life is. And it's like, if you don't got my phone number, then I don't really care what the fuck you think of me. Because if you have my phone number, you can ask me. You can be like, oh, like what the fuck is with this? But if you don't don't even got my phone number and you want to misunderstand me, I don't give a fuck. It's none of my fucking business. Because I think living in this society, appearances really matters. We all want to be liked. We all don't want to be alone. And sometimes it's just like, it's hard. It's hard, especially living in like a bustling city or like New York. And I get it. I don't want to call people like two-faced because that's just how life works. That's just how society works. There's like your real you and then there's you being polite to others. I think we all owe everyone kindness. But when you're building authentic relationships, you need to be kind, but also you need to just be your real self. You need to set clear boundaries and just be like, I'm not comfortable with that. Because these days, I'm not gonna lie, like at the age of 25, I personally actually feel better when people actually lay out their boundaries with me. Like they're not comfortable with this. I'd be like, do you want to go do this, do that? And they're like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. Let's go do something else. It just feels like I got closer to this person that I know them better. But there's also those people who like are never willing to do anything with you. And that's why like I'm like, why the fuck are we friends? You know? I'm like, maybe we're just not that compatible. There's like different sorts of context, but I like when people tell me that they're not comfortable with it and provide me with like another thing. They're like, well, maybe let's go do this. I'm like, oh, cool. That way I get to know you better and I know what you like and what you don't like. And you're not scared to tell me that, which I really appreciate. That's how you build like authentic friendships. So anyways, that's basically it for this journal entry. And honestly, like usually for my journals, I just write down my thoughts. But this has been kind of helpful. This is literally like my favorite notebook. Like literally this front part has a little pocket, so I put some stickers in. I found these like really cute like fall stickers and I'm like, you know what? Now that I'm turning 25, it's literally my birthday month. I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do, you know? It's so chill. Bought some washi tapes. It's like fulfilling like an inner child within me, and honestly it makes me feel so good about myself. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this journal entry. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, I hope this helped some of you guys, and this is also something I'm still trying to work on myself, and this is also open conversation. If you guys have anything you want to add, comment below. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Okay, bye guys, love you.